Our next speaker is Director Tim Stewart.
I'm going to start by sharing a small story. A man lost his job. You know, things were getting kind of tough. He had an interview for a new job, but he wasn't able to make it because traffic got backed up. The lottery ticket he bought didn't even win. He's having a bad day. After dinner, the sun goes down. He's walking along the beach, and he kicks something, and he picks it up, and it's a bag of marbles. And he says, "This is for that job. I didn't like it anyway." And he threw it into the ocean. He says, "Yeah, that felt pretty good. This is for that stupid traffic. Yeah. This is for the lottery ticket." And for the better share of an hour, he tossed these marbles into the ocean. He got down to 2 marbles left. He took the second to the last one. He said, "This is for all the good things that are going to happen from the day forward." And he threw it. "And you," he says, "I'm taking home to remember this day." And he put it in his pocket and he went home. He walked in the door and his wife said, "What have you been up to?" He said, "Why?" She said, "You look happy. You haven't looked happy in weeks." He said, "Well," and he pulled out the marble, but before he could say anything, his wife said, "Where did you find that pearl?" So, yeah, it was a pearl that when they sold it, they were able to pay off all their debt and get that new beginning they were looking for. Now, his old self would have whined about all the pearls he threw away, but his new self was happy with the one that he kept. Now, there are 3 morals to this story. The first one is, are you holding a bag of pearls and treating it like marbles? The second one is, if you let go of your troubles, good things can happen. The third one is, if you'll bring a pearl home to Mama, Mama's happy. And when Mama's happy, everybody's happy. About 30 years ago, I had a pearl. I met a guy named Marty Frederick. I walked the foundation in Marty's house when he built it in Bull Valley. Had the opportunity to start a Shackley business, but I threw it into the ocean. A few years ago, I was a stockbroker, and I remembered Marty Fredericks, and he should be making a lot of money, therefore he should be buying stock. So I showed up at Marty's doorstep, and he said, "You buy vitamins, I'll buy stock." Fine. A couple $1,000s for vitamins, for stock, $50 for vitamins. So I started on Vitalia, started feeling better, and things were good. He kept buying stock. My physical was coming up, and my cholesterol had been climbing, my blood pressure had been getting out of control, and some other things had been happening, and I knew this year was going to be good. And I went to my physical, and it wasn't good. My cholesterol was 312, my blood pressure was hitting the 145 to over 100 range, and my blood sugars were out of control. My dad was diabetic, and my mom's mom. I had that one coming from both sides. Doc said, statin drugs first, and then we'll start working on the rest of them. I said, give me 6 months. And I went down to Marty's house, and I said, "Marty, what do we do?" He said, "Here's what we do." He started me on some supplements on a regimen. 6 months later, I went in for my blood work. The blood work came back, and Haley called me from the doctor's office, and we know her well. And I said, "What are the numbers, Haley?" She says, "Doc wants to see you this afternoon." Uh-oh. I can't. I'm in a meeting in Chicago. She said, "Well, tomorrow morning. What time's the office open?" 8:30. Be here at 8. Uh-oh. I show up. Doc comes in. I've known Doc for years. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You're cheating on me." I said, "What are you talking about?" He lays the paperwork down. Cholesterol is 174. HDL went from 30 to 74. Triglycerides went from 90 to below 40. Blood pressure was 116 over 68, and blood sugars were right down the middle. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "The nutrition I told you about. I wanted 6 months." And he said, "That stuff doesn't work." I said, "Okay." So as a stockbroker, I had a lot of clients. Most of my clients were old because the old people, in traditional sense, have the money. And they have health issues, and I would send them to Marty. And a couple months go by, and I'm feeling good, and I'm making money and selling stock, and I get a letter in the mail, and it's from Shackley, and I open it up, and it's a bonus check for $84. I call Marty. I said, "What's this for?" He goes, "That's your bonus check." I said, "Where'd it come from?" He said, "Well, you started sending people to us, and you sponsored as a member, so I have to put them somewhere. I just put them under you." I said, "Marty, I can't accept this. The Securities and Exchange Commission will have my license." He goes, "I don't know how to stop it." So I called Edward Jones, who I work for, and I said, here's the situation. They said, are you telling people they have to buy it? No. I said, I'm just sending them there because he's making them healthier, every one. I got a lady with MS, offer medication. A guy with Parkinson's, a shake and stop. We got all kinds of stuff going on that are good. It's good for these people. He said, mark it in your extracurricular activities and don't worry about it. I said, cool. Now, the one thing that didn't go away is cluster headaches. I've battled cluster headaches for over 25 years. And if you're not familiar with a cluster headache, very simply, it's take this pin, drive it into the side of your head about 50 times a day, and you have a cluster headache. I've spent several hospitalizations at the Diamond Headache Clinic for these. And getting involved, I was so used to dealing with the pain of them, I thought, well, when I get involved with Shackley, they're going to go away. No, they didn't go away. Marty several times has seen the attacks. We'll be in a meeting, and all of a sudden and that's the way they happen. What, you okay? Yeah, I'll be all right. Just give me a second. It's these darn headaches. Along comes Vivix. Now, I'm a retired military guy. I coached for 27 years. I'd like to think of myself as very athletic, and I still do that. And I saw the Barbara Walters thing with the little 80-year-old mouse keeping up with the 20-year-old mouse, and I said, I want some of that. So I gave myself a military PT test. Push-ups, set-ups, 2-mile run. I took the Vivix for 5 days. Did the PT test again. My numbers are all up, 12, 15%. Could it be psychological? Absolutely, but it worked. A couple days later, I noticed I don't have a headache. Not even a sign of a headache. I haven't had that in 25 years. Didn't say anything to anybody. About 3 weeks later, we're with Marty and Lynn. We're out to dinner, and we're talking about all the great things that are starting to happen with Vivix. And I said, well, I don't know, if this counts, but I don't have a headache. My wife, April, and Marty and Lynn are like, wow. And Marty, you see his enthusiasm. Passionate, I looked up passionate in the dictionary, and his picture's right there. Right? He's like, you got to tell everybody, write it down and send it out. And I'm like, no. I'm not going to do it. I'm not the gift horse. I'm not going to look that gift horse in the mouth. This has been 25 years. Give me a few days. A couple months go by. I'm managing a sales office in Fox Lake. It's a Thursday. My guys are making phone calls. I'm on hold with AT&T. And all of a sudden, wham! I get nailed. And I said, it's too good to be true. That isn't actually what I said, but I can't say what I said. I threw the phone down. I went out in the hallway. The guys had never seen this because they'd only known me for a few weeks. And they followed me out. Are you all right? And I said, no, I'm not. Leave me alone. And I said, I knew it's too good to be true. And then as the pain started subsiding, it dawned on me. Remember November? We got our first shipment. We got our second shipment. And then the back order, right? We didn't get our Vivix shipment. And so I didn't have the Vivix. I had missed it for 3 days. The headache was back. I called Marty. I said, Marty, I need Vivix. He said, I'm out too. I called every Shackley person I knew. They were out too. Finally, Marty's shipment happened to come in the next morning at 10 o'clock. He called me. I was over. I took it, actually. By Sunday afternoon, a little pressure. By Monday, headaches are gone, and they have been gone ever since. Guess what the first thing I do every morning when I get up? We were that hobby person. That job lasted only a few more days. The landlord showed up and said, yeah, your boss didn't pay the lease, you're done. I went and sat with Marty, and I said, Marty, what do I do? He goes, are you finally ready? In November, our bonus check was about, I think, $212. We had consistently paid for our vitamins over the last 3.5 to 4 years. But in November, we sat down with Marty, and he guided me through a business plan, and we broke out as directors in January. So God bless each and every one of us here. There is nothing in Shackley. My wife, April, please raise your hand so everybody can see you. We will be master coordinators. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of just when, and our goal is 3 years, so we'll be up here. Thank you very much.